kind of being removed for 2 weeks, it was very interesting because the storylines had changed. They change every day in training camp, and definitely coming out of that preseason game, everybody's of course going to talk about the quarterback and Malik Willis. But it's been fun to watch from a distance the reaction to his performance, because some people thought it was otherworldly and amazing, and see you later, Ryan Tannehill. Let's go ahead and start this kid. He's so much fun to watch. Yeah. And then other people are like, ooh, okay, I see why he dropped and wasn't selected in the first round, wasn't the first quarterback taken, because that was kind of the talk going into the draft. So I thought it was perfect. It was just enough excitement to feel good about his future, but then just enough rookie quarterback mistakes to go, okay, that's why he's not starting for an NFL team coming up this fall. So I felt really good about his performance, and it was a good starting point. That's the thing with Mike Vrabel, is he doesn't like to show all of his cards in the preseason or make sure that they, win the game no matter what. It's all about learning and growing and trying new things, and there was definitely a lot of that.
Absolutely, and it's like you knew what my follow-up question was going to be about the quarterbacks. And, there was a lot of mixed reactions, but I don't understand how he's number 3 and Logan Woodside is number 2.
Yeah.
I mean, yesterday I was sitting in the studio while Zach was on the afternoon stretch, and he said, what does Logan have on, Coach, that he's in the number 2 spot and Malik is in the number 3 spot? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, it's not just the fact that, that between Logan Woodside and Malik Willis, this is how it's been with Logan Woodside for the last 3 years, is there's been a ton of quarterbacks that have come into that room and try to take over that position, and yet Logan Woodside has always remained. And what we've been told is that it's his understanding of the offense. And he's a guy, if, God forbid, Ryan Tannehill goes down, he's somebody that you can step in, and sure, he's not going to have the same amount of skills that Ryan Tannehill does, and is not going to be nearly as electric, but not much is going to drop off if you put Logan Woodside in there. With Malik Willis, he has that excitement. He has that big play ability. He's somebody that's just visually fun to watch because of what he's able to do with his legs and his arm strength as well. And you saw a cute little sidearm pass too that was reminiscent of what we see with Patrick Mahomes. And so that's obviously a lot of fun. But when it comes to Logan Woodside, their thought with him is that not much is going to drop off when it comes to the offense. But boy, he did not make a great case for himself on Thursday. There's definitely a lot of question marks when it comes to that performance, because it should have, that's what we've continually been told, because I think it was apparent early on that this was, as much as, maybe some fans that are not too happy with Ryan Tannehill wanted to make it a Malik Willis versus Ryan Tannehill. That was quickly dissipated. I mean, that was the talk for a second, and then it was immediately like, no.
See, I still want to talk about it because I'm a Dolphins fan. I grew up a Dolphins fan, so I love that talk.
Probably not the biggest fan of Ryan Tannehill. But no, I mean, there was that, and there still will be. But I think if you're more level-headed, you realize that the competition is really between Logan Woodside and Malik Willis. And I would say, point for Malik Willis on the first preseason game for sure. I think that it's more of a competition than we thought it was going to be based on what you saw during training camp.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun, though, seeing some new faces in the Titans preseason game. But what was not a lot of fun, switching gears, seeing Deshaun Watson get some playtime last night. What are your initial thoughts on that?
Yeah, it was interesting, to say the least. I would say that we need to add some context in terms of when he arrived on the field, because he did do something that we have yet to see him do, which was amazing. He said the S word. He said sorry, which is such a long time coming. I know he spoke with Aditi Kinkawala, who formerly with the NFL Network, now with CBS Sports, and they had, I think, a minute 45 conversation before he hopped on the bus to play his first game since, what was that, 2019, right, or 2020?
19 games.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long time since we've seen him play football, and I loved the way that she framed her question, is that, when you heard from Sue L. Robinson, who was the independent arbitrator that ultimately gave him that 6-game suspension. Now, obviously, they're appealing it, and it's probably going to be a little bit more than that. But she said that the thing that concerned her the most about his, quote, predatory behavior was that he never showed any remorse. He was asked point blank when he arrived in Cleveland. The Cleveland media did a great job with that press conference. They asked him, do you have any regrets? He said, no regrets. Now, and that's not to say that you need to give some sort of admission of guilt. You can regret what it did to the women, what it how it's harmful, not just to the women that were directly impacted, but you and I having this conversation, feeling uncomfortable about seeing him out there. you needed to feel some sort of regret and some sort of remorse. And so I like the fact that Sue Robinson added that in her report, and that was kind of the strange thing. And so that's what Aditi straight up asked is, would you like to respond to that? Because I feel like that's the sticking point, really, is that not only did all of this go down, and yes, you've got to let the court system work out, and you've got to let the NFLPA make their case versus the NFL, but ultimately this was crazy and impacted so many people and was such a big talking point and was so triggering for a lot of women, and to see not just his ability to be traded and get a new fresh start, but also the $231 million fully guaranteed contract, and then to come out and say, nope, no regrets, I feel fine. That was the part that hurt. And so ultimately seeing him on the field was interesting. I think that the Jags gave him a nice warm welcome. It certainly helps that they faced him 2 times a year in the division not too long ago. So it's not going to be pretty and it's not going to be clean. But I think it was at least a good first step that he did show remorse after being, given the option to do it multiple times. It's going to take a while to repair that image, certainly.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say is, do you think that sorry was sincere, or do you think it was a way to just try to save a little bit of face that's left? And what does it really say about the Browns? That's what I was more concerned about with watching last night. How can the organization put him out there knowing what that's going to, the turmoil that's bringing?
Yeah, it's weird because so much of what we've heard from them is they're just going to let the process play out. And, they say that they don't want to respond to certain things because there's a lot still going on and you don't want to mess with the investigation and everything. Yet here we are in the middle of an appeal and they're saying, all right, well, we're not really sure when he's going to be able to suit up for us. So while we wait, let's go ahead and throw him out there. So yeah, it seemed like they were just throwing caution to the wind and saying, well, while you guys figure out your stuff, we're still going to have our quarterback play some football. And so it was kind of, I see what you're saying, kind of a weird situation with it. They didn't really seem to care about the delicacy of all of this. And in terms, I can't look into his heart. I don't know if it was sincere. It's tough to believe how sincere something is when you've been asked to apologize multiple times and have not, and then finally you do. It's weird. So all of it is just the strangest situation, and you have to think about what you know about Deshaun Watson before all of this, and that's the crazy part too, is it was nothing but glowing recommendations from, back in college in Clemson, and then when he went to the Texans, and he famously gave his first game check to some of the workers at their stadium that had been impacted by the flooding. And so it was just it's tough because you see this amazing person that does all these amazing things, and then you find out that he's 2 separate human beings, and so it's hard to separate that. But I feel like that's adulthood, as you learn that it's not black and white. There's a lot of gray area there.
Absolutely. And like I said, I didn't want to harp on it too much because this is a show promoting women, but I feel like it was necessary to talk about it. And so we're going to go on to the next topic, and that's the coaches poll came out this week. And I'm so excited to start talking some SEC ball. Football season is here. In the top 25 in the coaches poll, you had Bama at number 1, Georgia at 3, A&M at 7, Kentucky at 21, Arkansas 23, Ole Miss 24, just missing it, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on that?
I got to ask you. I'm turning on you. Why the pause with Kentucky? I mean, we've got 4 straight bowl wins, 10-win seasons. I mean, absolutely. I thought that they, could make a case to be even higher than 21, honestly.
No, they definitely can make a case, but it's the same thing every single year with Kentucky. Sometimes they'll have the players coming back, but they never actually fully put together a full season. And so
can't beat Tennessee. No matter what, they can win 10 games in a bowl game, but they still cannot manage to beat Tennessee. So no, I feel you there. But when it comes to Tennessee, because here we are in that wonderful state, volunteer state, absolutely, I think that it's right where they should be, right? And I think that would be a big jump for them in year 1 with Heupel to year 2, is I think they should be around that fringe top 25 team. I think 9 wins would be awesome. 8 would be a good solid jump from 1 to 2, because you also have to talk about all the off the field things that have been going on too, with the notice of allegations and the 18 level 1 violations. And a reminder of where this team was not too long ago under Jeremy Pruitt, and not just the fact that you had to go through a coaching change, because I think we can agree that the jump with Heupel has already paid off, and you feel good about the future of the program under him. But it was the mass exodus of players too in the transfer portal, and trying to put together a roster and trying to convince recruits, hey, come to us. We're not sure what the status of the program will look like, or how many scholarships will be allowed by the NCAA, or if we're allowed to participate in the postseason, and all of these things. There's so many question marks, and it's hard to sell that to a recruit. And yet you see Tennessee in 2023 already a lot of excitement on their recruiting class. They were top 5 at some point in 24/7 Sports rankings, and so there's a lot of excitement, and you feel like the Jeremy Pruitt era and how it all ended, it felt so distant, and you felt like you would kind of turn the page, and then of course you were smacked with the 18 level 1 violations, and it was a reminder of like,
welcome to Tennessee athletics.
Oh yeah, we went through that. Just when you have a little bit of hope, it's like a nice little reminder of like back to reality. But in terms of what would be successful for this team, I think is finishing around where they've got them in the preseason polls now, is in a fringe top 25 team. A top 25 team would be spectacular. But there are definitely some swing games on this schedule too. There are games that they have a chance to steal from some teams that they weren't able to finish the job with last year. I know they get the rematch against Pitt, and that was a close one. And a lot of Tennessee fans would tell you that if Hendon Hooker would have started that game, they would have felt a lot better about their chances to win. And so now they get another shot at him. They got to go on the road to do it, which is going to be a little challenging. But there are definitely some games that were very close last year that if they would have just one more play, they could have won. Ole Miss is definitely one that comes to mind. It's tough to think about that without thinking of golf balls and mustard bottles and everything, but that was actually a really close game.
Really close game.
And so that's one that if they're in a similar situation, they can get there.
Yeah, and I know Josh Heupel really wants another chance at Pitt. The last time he played at Pitt, he was head coach of UCF, and that also is not a pretty one. So before we go to break, you have some big moves happening. When can people expect to hear? She's no longer at WKRN. When can people expect to hear something?
Hopefully next week. Fingers crossed. It's,
hopefully next week.
Out of my control, but just stay tuned on my Twitter page for next week.
And what's your handle?
It's at Emily_Proud.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Emily, for joining me. And you're listening to Power Hour with Sami Kincaid. We'll be back right after this, and I'll have Madison McHenry with me in studio. We'll talk to you soon.
Hey guys, it's Zach from the Afternoon Stretch. One of the things I love about betting my favorite sports is that I'm always finding new player props or game props that I like. And what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook is you can combine prop bets from multiple games and now even multiple sports. It's called Same Game Parlay Plus, and you can only find them on FanDuel. Combine your favorite baseball home run hitters for a chance to score an even bigger payout. If you don't want to build your own Same Game Parlay, check out their popular Same Game Parlay section where you can join the bets other users are jumping on. And if you're new to FanDuel, sign up with promo code TAS to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Make every moment more and download the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Just use promo code TAS so they know that we sent you. 21 up and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 7 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call TN Redline 1-800-889-9789.
Great news from Rocket Mortgage. You could unlock more cash than you realize from your home's equity with a cash-out refinance today. In fact, in the last year, average home values have gone up nearly 20%. That means you could unlock thousands of dollars. And with Rocket Mortgage, you could unlock all that cash in less than 3 weeks. But you've got to act right now before rates go up, because nobody knows how long these low rates will last. Put your hard-earned money to work. Make your life better. Build a home office. Remodel your kitchen. Or simply save that cash for a rainy day. Today's rate on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.25%, 3.48% APR, so you can lock in a great low monthly payment. When you're looking to unlock the cash in your home, Rocket can. Call 833-8ROCKET today or go to rocketmortgage.com to get started. That's 833-8ROCKET or go to rocketmortgage.com. Rocket. Rates current as of 12/12/21. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030. Call 800-490-1233 for disclosures and cost information.
From the big game to the big dance, Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel downtown is your game day and watch party headquarters. Don't worry about entertaining guests and trying to feed everyone. Sit back, relax, cheer on your team, and let the Bar Line staff take care of you. Grab a Bar Line signature cocktail and enjoy some wicked deviled eggs. Or a Bar Line's double stack and finish it off with some Jack and Coke chocolate cake. Bust your belly and your bracket at Bar Line, located in the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown.
5X480, Dayton B100 V-Belt, one of the many parts Grainger carries. It's also the item that helped Rob carry the day. The job was on hold, deadline fast approaching, but a quick search on Grainger.com and Rob found his part. And with same-day pickup at his local branch, he and his crew got the job done, safely and on time. Get supplies and solutions for every industry with real-time product availability. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is the Greg Pogue and John Burton Show.
Mickey Yates is here, ladies and gentlemen.
As a fan of both of the men, this is the place to be. You want to know about sports? This is the place to be. Listen to John and Craig. This is it.
Wow, that was awesome.
I quit.
Yeah, so I'm done. That's a mic drop.
Greg Pogue and News Channel 5's John Burton, WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Now, This Girl Can, featuring your local female athlete of the week.
Welcome back into Power Hour with Sami Kincaid. I'm Sami Kincaid in the Strike and Spare studio. And if you want to call in on the Cure hotline at 615-844-5600, 615-844-5600. And I am very excited to have, she's sitting across from me, and she does not look like she's 13 years old because she's about a foot taller than me, which is not hard to beat. But I got Madison McHenry with me. She is an 8th grade at DCA and an absolute baller. Madison, how you doing today? Good. So let's talk about it. You've had a busy summer.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. For people that don't know, she's an incredible softball player, and she's been traveling a lot. Why don't you give me a little bit about what you've been doing?
So most of this summer, we've been going up and down from Birmingham, Tennessee. Just last week, we played in California and got second in our PGF 12U National.
Yeah, how was that in California? I know you got to go explore a little bit too. It wasn't all just business. You got to play out there too.
Yes, we think we went 5 for 2 or 7 for 2. Lost of one pool game, and then lost of one bracket game in championship.
But you didn't lose much. You just brought up the losses, but you won a bunch.
Yes, ma'am.
And on the first couple of days, you got to explore a little bit, right?
Yes, we went and seen all the stars, and we got to see the beach, which was really cold.
Yeah, and talk to me a little bit about your week. You're playing right now for Birmingham, correct? And
yes.
So what does that kind of look like? Because that's not a quick drive, I'd say.
About a 3-hour drive. We most of the time have 3-hour practices, and we practice with our older girls. So the first day is probably a Friday, and we have like 3 hours and probably hit. Second day is Saturday, and just fielding, hitting, base running, and then that's 4 hours of break, and then 4 hours. Then on Sunday we will 4 hours and just do probably whatever kind of from the Saturday.
And you just started back up at school. So what is it like? How does having those long practices and traveling 3 hours for those practices one way, how does that help you with time management? What all do you learn from that routine?
Just got to stay on top of everything. Can't wait till the last minute. Just have to be on top of my work, and then just studying.
And you're in 8th grade now at DCA.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you playing third base at DCA, or what position are you playing whenever you play at DCA?
So for middle school, I would pitch, play third, and would play some short too. And that's probably all for them.
Yeah. And what would you say is your favorite right now? Because you kind of third base is what you're known for. So those that are listening, she's ranked third in her position in the nation and 19th overall for the graduating class of 2027, which I just had a little bit of a heart attack here in 2027. But that is absolutely incredible. Third in the nation at third base. So would you say that's like your comfort zone?
Yes, ma'am.
Getting to learn and develop a little bit more at the other positions.
Yes. It's definitely new, but I think I can do it if I set my mind to it.
And what have your coaches kind of been telling you about that?
Well, definitely just like they really do try to help me, and they're very patient with me, which I'm thankful for. And just, I guess because I do have a problem just coming up because I'm tall and just how I like throw kind of because I get it's like I've been kind of doing it wrong for a while, which is like crazy how I got by. So it's really crazy just being like this new thing and then just having to learn it. It feels like you're learning it all over, but it's fun.
And again, you're listening to Power Hour with Sami Kincaid right now in the Strike and Spare studio, and I have with me Madison McHenry. She just mentioned she's tall, but she's real tall. She's 13 and 5'10". Like I said, almost a foot taller than me. And whenever you walked in, I was like, this is not an 8th grader. How crazy is it whenever you're walking? Do you see a big difference between you and your classmates, just how tall you are?
Oh, yes, most definitely. But they're kind of starting to catch up to me, which I had to give them a few years.
I like the confidence there. And as I was saying earlier, ranked third in the nation for third base. And just, I know that with DCA, so I went to DCA preschool through 8th grade. And there was a big focus on getting out into the community. And the softball team does a little bit to give back, correct?
Yes, ma'am. So this year or last year, we held a tournament up for St. Jude and raised $1,000 to give to them.
And what does that mean to you to be able to give back? I mean, even whenever you were walking into the studio, Greg and the guys, they were walking out and they said, no, we know exactly who you are. And so you're starting to be really recognizable in the community just because of your successes. So what does it mean to be able to give back to the community?
I think I like doing it because there's some girls who aren't able to play. So it's just kind of playing for them too, boys and girls. So just kind of do what maybe they weren't able to.
Absolutely. And what would you say, or who would you say inspires you?
Probably my family and friends because they're there with me through thick and thin, always just there and supporting me through everything when I'm nervous, excited. Yeah.
You got your mom's in here too. Would you say she's one of the top ones on that list?
Oh, yes.
I like the nervous grin over to her. That was great. What would you say you aspire to be? What do you want to be whenever you grow up? Right? You want to play? I mean, we got Raven Siobhan on after this, and she was on Team USA, played at Tennessee. So is that what you say? Next steps, college ball, or what are you wanting to do with your life?
I think I definitely do want to play college, and then I think I'll probably have to decide then, like, if I still love it enough to play pro, but maybe, like, after that, if I have a job, work with animals, and I do want to, like, share the gospel more and just, like, help people learn it as I'm learning it myself.
I love that. And I would say at DCA, that was the one place I feel like I learned scripture the most. You had to learn a different Bible verse every single week from what I remember.
And write it in cursive.
That's good. They're still teaching cursive. And I like that you brought up, though, life after ball. So do you have any pets? How did that become a passion as well?
Yes, I do love pets. I do have a dog, Amy. She gets on my nerves. She's spoiled.
I like that she has a human name.
But yeah, I never. My mom's name was going to be Amy if she wasn't Ashley, so I was like, okay, let's name her Amy. Why not? But yes, I love animals. Every time I know when we're at tournaments, we see them. I always have to pet the dogs. And stuff. I love to play with them.
When did you start playing? How old were you?
Think about 8 or 9. Started in Hendersonville playing rec ball, and then it's like an all-star team. Then I played with Chaos, which you probably don't know 'em. But then I moved over to Mojo. Then played with them for about 2 years. Then now I'm starting my new journey with the Bolts.
Okay, but Mojo's where you really honed in on third base, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And what was it about playing with them? Because it's not that you just honed in; you really owned third base. So, what was it that you learned playing with Mojo that made you so successful at playing third base?
I think it was just, well, I was mainly a pitcher at first, and then kind of got moved a little bit over to third, and then it was just, I felt like I could be myself, and then I would learn all these things like the fake throws. That's where I really had fun because I liked watching them run, and then just got out. But yeah, I felt I could be comfortable there, and yeah, just kind of just being myself, and that's kind of just where it started.
And you said you started out pitching, then you pitched still.
Yes.
How fast can you pitch?
I think the fastest I was called is like 60, 61.
And you're 13 years old. I just want to make sure everyone is reminded of that you are 13 years old, getting clocked at 60, 61. That's incredible. And so we have a few more minutes left before we go to break. So if anyone wants to call in on the Cure hotline, it's 615-844-5600, 615-844-5600. And I have Madison McHenry with me, an 8th grader at Donaldson Christian Academy, who has just been really stepping up her game this summer, getting to play out in California. And you guys were the runner-up.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you mentioned the couple losses, but let's go through some of those wins because you had to have a few wins to get to that point of being the runner-up. So take me through some of those games.
Ooh, okay, so I think one of them was like CF Stars, and it just was a battle bag. I think they got 2 runs on us the first inning, and then we just weren't getting the bats like fast enough, and then we did, and we started to tie it up. Then it was like they got to run, we got to run, they got to run, we got to run, and then we held them for the 1 inning, and then we got our run and won the game. So I know that was a very exciting win for us. Then let's see, after that game we played Beverly Bandits, and that game we just held up, just was hitting really good, defense was good, and just won that one. Then we went to championship. Then the championship game, then bats weren't that good, but I mean I still think we had an amazing tournament. I won't let that game define us.
You're a true athlete because when I asked you about California the first time, the first thing you brought up was the loss because that's what stings, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't like having that taste in your mouth. So
No.
So when do you get back out there to play?
I think we have practice in about 2 weeks. So we go up to Birmingham practice, but I'm not sure when our first game is. I don't know. They drive me out to play.
I miss that. I miss that life. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Madison, for joining me. We are about to head to break. And if you want to follow Madison on Twitter, it's Madison McHenry 4. And just an incredible 8th grader at DCA that has a very, very bright future in front of her. So thank you so much, Madison, for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. And you're listening to Power Hour with Sami Kincaid in the Strike and Spare studio. Right after this, we're going to be joined by Raven Siobhan. She'll be coming up in just a little bit.
one of the things I love about betting my favorite sports is that I'm always finding new player props or game props that I like. And what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook is you can combine prop bets from multiple games and now even multiple sports. It's called Same Game Parlay Plus, so you can only find on FanDuel. Combine player props you love with your favorite baseball home run hitters for a chance to score an even bigger payout. If you don't want to build your same game parlay, check out their popular Same Game Parlay section where you can join the bets other users are jumping on. And if you're new to FanDuel, sign up with promo code GregP to get your first bet risk-free up to $1,000. Make every moment more. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and use promo code GregP.
Use the promo code GregP.
See, and from the Peanuts section, John Burton.
Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. Site credit is non-withdrawable and expires 7 days after receipt. Terms apply. See sportsbook.fanduel.com for details. For problem gambling support, call 1-800-889-9789.
Prescription products require an online physician consultation and are only available if the physician determines a prescription is appropriate. Subscription required. See website for full details and important safety information.
Dealing with ED is difficult enough, but the pressure of not satisfying your partner makes it even worse. ED can be tough on a relationship, but at HIMSS, you can contact a medical provider online and, if appropriate, get the prescription medication that treats ED at affordable prices. HIMSS ED medication has the same active ingredient as Viagra, but because it's generic, you pay 90% less. That's right, 90% less. A whole month's supply is just $30, and it's sent right to your home for free in discreet packaging. HIMSS offers the same medication you'd get from your doctor, but without the copay, expensive appointments, or awkward face-to-face conversations. And with HIMSS, every online visit is free, and your relationship right back on track. For a free online consultation, go to forhims.com/joy. That's forhims.com/joy for your free visit. forhims.com/joy.
When was the last time you did something fun with family, friends, coworkers, and clients? What if I told you about a place under one roof that offers affordable entertainment for all ages? That's what you'll find at Strike and Spare Family Fun Centers in Donaldson, Hermitage, Tusculum, Hendersonville, and Murfreesboro, with bowling, games, food, drink, and entertainment for all ages. Enjoy an enhanced experience in Hendersonville or Murfreesboro, where they feature additional fun with bumper cars, laser tag, roller skating, and more. All locations are open 7 days a week, including holidays. Visit online at strikeandspare.com. Strike and Spare, where fun is bowling.
You have a 90% chance of surviving a lightning strike. You have a 98% chance of surviving a shark attack. You have a 99% chance of surviving a snake bite. But you only have a 50% chance of surviving a crash if you aren't wearing a seatbelt. Your truck may be tough, but a seatbelt makes it tougher. Buckle up in your truck. Brought to you by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office.
Your Atlanta Braves are battling through the hot weather and big road trips as they look to push for a 5th straight division crown.
Next pitch to Riley. Swung on, hammered to deep center. Home run!
Today, the Braves and Marlins play 2 in Miami as division rivals clash in a huge doubleheader.
Coverage begins this morning at 11:55 on your home for the Atlanta Braves, Nashville Sports Radio. And now it's time to shine the spotlight on this week's coach or player from college to the pros. This is Shattered Ceilings.
Welcome back into the Strike and Spare studio. I'm Sami Kincaid, host of Power Hour with Sami Kincaid. And you just heard it's time for Shattered Ceilings. And I am very excited to be joined today by Raven Siobhan. She's a Tennessee legend. If you know of the Lady Vols softball team, she absolutely killed it there in third base and outfield. Raven, how you doing today?
I'm doing so great. Thank you for having me.
Of course. So first off, just tell me how you doing. What's new? It's been forever since I've been able to talk to you.
Oh, I've just been busy, working. I'm now a NARP, so just going to work every day and just really enjoying kind of being normal.
And for those that don't know, a NARP is a non-athletic regular person, which whenever Raven and I were going to school together at Tennessee, that was me, while Raven was a very athletic person. So let's give a little bit about your background. I already said that you played for the Lady Vols at Tennessee, but why don't you expand on that a little bit?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Southern California, and I grew up playing sports year-round, which we were able to do just because of the weather. And I kind of just accidentally found my niche with softball. No one in my family had ever played sports. And I just played and luckily got recruited and went to the East Coast from sunny California. And I've been here ever since. And I was blessed enough to, play in the SEC, best conference, in my opinion, that there is, and play for Ralph and Karen for, those 4 incredible years.
And you didn't stop playing after that. I don't know how you continued to play on Team USA for, I don't even know how many years was it that you ended up playing with them. I feel like my bones were already hurting and you were still playing at an extreme level.
Yeah, I think I played until I was 26. So yeah, I played for, I think, 4 seasons after I graduated, and I was also playing Team USA for a year or 2 while I was still in college.
And that's really incredible to still be doing that while you're in college. And I mean, that's just a little bit of a humble brag, but I'm going to brag on you a little bit more. 2013 Capital One Academic All-American of the Year for softball. So it's not just that you were doing it on the field, you were also doing it in the classroom. So can you just talk about how important it is that you were a student before an athlete?
Yeah, absolutely. Ironically, when I was in high school, I was kind of an average student. I got A's and B's with the occasional C. And when I got to college, one of my head coaches, Karen, she was actually a lawyer before she became a coach. And she really did stress the importance of grades. So I already knew I could do the softball thing. So I really made it like a personal goal to really hone in on my academics and do better in college than I did in high school. And luckily I was able to do that with just like a lot of discipline and time management. And if I didn't understand something, I was going to tutors, asking for extra help. And it kind of helped me find a love for education, which is what I ended up doing in my career post softball because I'm now a teacher. So it really kind of was like a whole circle moment.
And I was about to get to you being a teacher. So let's go ahead and talk about that. Do you still help out with the softball team there? I know you have a lot of extracurriculars that you do help out with, but tell me a little bit about teaching now. What grade and all of that good stuff?
Yeah. So I teach 5th grade. I teach English language arts, which is like reading, writing, and grammar. I do not coach any athletics because I teach 5th grade. So there's no sports in an elementary school, though the high school coach, once they found out who I was, they were calling me and emailing me trying to get me to coach the high school team. But
once they found out who you were, all SEC first team, you mean they didn't realize they had that in their back pocket?
Yeah, it just wasn't realistic because the high school is like in the heart of Atlanta, and I was about like 50 minutes without traffic away, which we really know means 90 minutes in Atlanta time. But I do softball lessons. So I did that when I was in Knoxville, which I believe you know. And I do softball lessons here in Georgia where I now live. And I work with kids as young as 6 and as old as 18. So I still get to have, softball as part of my life, even though it's not an everyday thing.
That's great. And again, you're listening into Power Hour with Sami Kincaid right now in the Strike and Spare studio. And I'm very lucky to be joined by Raven Siobhan. We're talking about her time at Tennessee and now what she's up to. And Raven, we're just talking about you being in the classroom. How did your time at Tennessee playing for the Lady Vols, how did that help you with your mindset now in the classroom?
Oh, goodness. Everything from high expectations to organization to time management to pushing through hard things. Those are all things that not only I do in the classroom, but like I teach my kids, telling them that failure is okay. We're humans. We're not robots. We're going to make mistakes, and holding them to that high expectation at the same time. So my time as an athlete with Tennessee and really with Team USA as well, I was really lucky to play for an amazing coach, Coach Erickson, who is the head coach at USF. Just learned so much from him, and he really, really helped me and shaped me as well as Ralph and Karen.
Absolutely. And right before you, we just talked to an 8th grade softball player. And what would you say to somebody like her that's aspiring to be? And she's one of those little girls. She's growing up right now. She's pretty tall, but she's one of those girls that was looking up to you while you were a lady Vol. So, and also on Team USA. So what would you say to her? Or what do you say to some of your students whenever they do they ever find out your accolades? I mean, I named one of them, but you were also SEC all defensive team, all tournament team. I mean, you could go down a long, long list if you look up her name right now.
Yeah, well, kids nowadays have access to the internet, so the first day of school was actually yesterday, and half the class already watched all my videos on YouTube. So I can't really hide it because they Google me. But in terms of giving advice to any young, aspiring college athlete, is just to put in the work. I mean, you get what you put into it, and nothing's going to magically fall in your lap. So, like, if you work hard, you put in the work, you put in the hours, there is a place for everyone. And I think seconding off that is there is a college for everyone, whether it's D1, D2, D3, NAIA, JUCO. A lot of the times people have it in their mind and they're like, I have to go to a Tennessee. I have to go to a UCLA or an Alabama. And you want to go where you're wanted, where they're going to give you like a scholarship, where they have your academic major. And with kids like committing so young, I think it's really important for them and their parents to also think big picture. So those are probably the two major pieces of advice I would give.
Well, that's great. Well, we're up against a break right now, Raven, so I would really love for you to stay on with me if that's okay with you, because there's still a lot I want to talk to you about. And again, you're listening to Power Hour with Sami Kincaid. Have Raven Chavant on with me right now, and we'll be right back after this.
Hey, it's Patton Cook from Run With It. Let me tell you about my friends over at Smiles by Design. Dr. Dwayne Jones and his team focus on providing you with personalized, gentle care that you deserve. Smiles by Design are one of the few practices that offer state-of-the-art, needle-free cavity fillings. I started going to Dr. Jones 2 years ago, and he has completely changed my smile. They are located at 105 Threet Industrial Boulevard, Unit 1001 in Smyrna. You can visit their website at drdwaynejones.com for more information, or you can call them at 615-355-1033. Again, their number is 615-355-1033, or you can search for them on social media at Smiles by Design. So be sure the next time you're looking for dentistry services, give my friends over at Smiles by Design a try. And don't forget to tell them Patton sent you.
Ad paid for by Anthem Tax Services. Attention! If you or your business is behind in filing your tax returns, or if you owe over $10,000 in back taxes to the IRS, please listen carefully. The IRS does not joke around and will not stop their collection efforts. If you're tired of the IRS letters, levies, liens, or wage garnishments and would like to get a fresh start, we can help. Due to the financial hardships in the country, the IRS is making it easier than ever to settle tax problems for those who owe more than $10,000. We can help settle your delinquent tax problems, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes by up to 99%. Even if you can't afford to pay your back taxes, you can still get the help you need. We've helped thousands of taxpayers just like you, but you must call 800-297-0674 to stop your tax problem from getting worse. The information is free and the help is real. Call 800-297-0674. That's 800-297-0674. Again, 800-297-0674.
Bundling home and car insurance with Geico is so easy, your neighbors are probably already doing it. But who? They may drop little hints like,
beautiful day out. Even more beautiful since we saved by bundling our home and car insurance with Geico.
Or,
yard work is hard. Much harder than bundling with Geico, which was easy.
Or it may be even subtler, like,
speaking of burgers, we bundled our home and car insurance with Geico and saved a bunch of money.
Bundling is easy with Geico. Just ask your neighbors.
Hey, Braves fans, it's time for baseball, and that means it's time to cheer on the World Series defending champions, the Atlanta Braves, in the 2022 season. Attorney Klein Preston of the Klein Preston Law Group wants you to join him in cheering on the World Series defending champions, the Atlanta Braves, for the start of the 2022 season. Here's to another amazing season for Braves country here on your home for the Atlanta Braves. Nashville Sports Radio.
WNSR Nashville Sports Radio is your Middle Tennessee home for the best high school football coverage. Join me, Joe Fisher, along with Greg Pogue and the WNSR crew every Friday night for the Mid-State Checkdown High School Football Game of the Week. Each week, we're hitting the road and giving you the best coverage of the best high school football in Middle Tennessee. It's the Mid-State Checkdown High School Football Game of the Week every Friday night on your home for high school football. WNSR Nashville Sports Radio.
We're checking out the headlines, the highlights, and the stories from the world of women's athletics. Time to go around the hour.
Welcome back into the Strike and Spare studio. I'm Sami Kincaid, the host of Power Hour with Sami Kincaid. And be sure to call in on the Cure hotline, 615-844-5600. Again, 615-844-5600. Right now I have on the phone with me Raven Siobhan. We just got done talking to her about her time at the University of Tennessee on playing softball there, and not just playing softball, but absolutely killing it there. And then also on Team USA, and now kind of what she's up to. And Raven, thank you for sticking around with me, because we still got a lot more to talk about what you're up to now.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for, keeping me on.
Absolutely. And I have not spoken with you since you had a big life change. And it's the next thing I want to talk about, because it is a very unique perspective. You got married about a half year ago, and you did, to a Major League Baseball player. So right now, it is probably, you just mentioned that school just started for you, but in the heart of season, how crazy is life right now?
I mean, it's pretty crazy, but at the same time, it's all me and my husband, Christy Stewart, who also played at Tennessee. It's all we really know, because when we first started dating, I was playing and he was playing. So the chaoticness and the traveling and the insane schedules, while it's difficult, it's what we're used to.
Yeah, and you just mentioned it. You both were playing at Tennessee. I want to say you were Miss Tennessee and he was Mr. Tennessee, the two most athletic people on Tennessee's campus. And right now he's playing with the Red Sox. So how does that, because I don't think you've always been a Red Sox fan. So are you now pulling for the Red Sox? Do you have to pull for the Red Sox?
So this is what I say. I cheer for my husband. I hope he goes 4 for 4 every game. But I am a Dodger fan, and people always cringe when I say this, but I got to stay loyal to my team. If the Dodgers don't win it, I hope Boston does, but I'm a Dodger girl, so I got to pull for blue. But I hope Stu goes, 4 for 4 if they play the Dodgers, but I won't be upset if Boston loses.
Yeah, when is the next time they play each other? Because I'm sure, are you gonna have a shirt that's kind of half blue, half red?
I should do that, to be honest, but I honestly have no clue what the schedule is since I just started back up at work. This was actually my first week back with students. We barely gotten to talk this week because I've been falling asleep at 8 p.m. and his game ends at 10:30. So I honestly have no clue what his schedule is, if I'm being honest. Wife of the year, I know.
I feel like that's pretty much a lot of people in sports. They don't know days of the week anymore. They just know, is it a game day? Is it not a game day? And I'm sure you send him that game day text. Hey, good luck, babe. Right?
That sums it up perfectly.
So again, you're listening to Power Hour with Sami Kincaid every Saturday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. in the Strike and Spare studio. Right now I have on with me Raven Siobhan, and this show is highlighting women in sports. And Raven has had an incredible journey, career in sports, and now she's really getting to see it from a different side. And that's one thing that I think a lot of people don't realize is just being around athletics. I feel like watching the wives of the athletes and the coaches, they're in it just as much as the athletes.
Oh, absolutely, especially because a good majority of players' wives, travel with them. So they're at every single game, and they really do become like part of the team. So like you feel the wins just as much as the team does. You feel the losses, and then when you throw in kids in the mix, there's a ton of children within the Red Sox organization, and the kids are down on the field before the game and after the game. So it really is like a family within a family.
Yeah, and that's really cool whenever the kids get to go out there and really have fun. And I mean, those are fields that they've dreamed. They dream about playing on those one day, and they get to go out there and really have a good time, all the families together. So that's one aspect that a lot of people, I want to be able to highlight women in sports in multiple different facets, not just the athletes, but not just the coaches, but there's a lot of different roles that women can play in sports. And so we've talked a lot about it. You graduated from Tennessee. We graduated together from Tennessee. It's about to be season. Fall camp is well underway. Let's go through Tennessee's schedule. I'm going to see how well you do at the end of the season. I'm going to do this with quite a few of my guests, and we're going to see who has the best predictions, okay? So, are you ready?
As ready as I can be.
All right. Week 1, Ball State at Tennessee. Win or loss?
That's a win.
That's a win?
Yeah.
All right. Tennessee at Pitt.
Win.
Okay, I like it. I mean, that was a really close game last season.
It was, but I'm liking what I'm seeing this year. So hopefully that one doesn't come back at me. But I'm going to stick with win.
Okay, now Akron at Tennessee.
Oh, I have to go win there. My whole family's from Akron. So win, we're going to win by 30.
And then Florida at Tennessee.
Oh. Like the student me has never beaten Florida, but I'm liking Tennessee this year. So I'm going to say it's a very close game, but Tennessee's going to pull this one out.
I mean, I really like that one. I mean, the last time I was at Florida at Tennessee in Neyland Stadium, that was a pretty big win. I want to say, was that 2015? I want to say. And so maybe we have a repeat of that.
Yes, I'm going with it.
All right, Tennessee at LSU. Can they do it?
Oh, don't come at me, Vol fans. I'm going to say loss.
Oh man, that's going to be a tough one. That I have that one as well. So don't come at me either, please, Vol fans. I think between the two of us, they shouldn't come at us. But we'll go on to Alabama at Tennessee.
That's another one I'm going to have to say loss. I just, you have to pay respect to Nick Saban. So.
But it's in Neyland.
It is, but I don't know. I have to go with my gut, and it's telling me loss. Close game, though. We do play Alabama sometimes pretty close, at least for the first 3 quarters. So I'm going to say loss, but close game.
All right, we're going to power through the rest of these because we're coming up at the end of the hour. All ready?
All right.
Tennessee Martin, win or loss?
Win.
Kentucky at Tennessee.
Win.
Tennessee at Georgia.
I'm going to say win.
Tennessee at South Carolina.
Win.
Tennessee at Vandy.
Oh, win.
I love it. So, I mean, you only got 2 losses going 10-2. I like it.
Yep. I'm feeling optimistic.
Well, I really appreciate you joining me, Raven. And thank you all for listening again to the Strike and Spare studio. And thank you to Adam and Ted Johnson and producer Devlin for today's show.
On air and online, Sports Radio, WNSR.